Tigers early game that they've so routinely been beaten now twice by Albus Nox and just the rest of the field.
I feel like it's mostly due to like how not aggressive Korea is compared to these other regions. Like you see like wildcard teams, they go hard, they force early plays. Korea, they like to play kind of slow and kind of like stall the game out and make sure their team fighting is the way they win the game.
This is interesting, Atlus, because we saw 3 support bans the last time.
That is a lot of Huhi respect right there.
They're just trying to zero in one player. It did not work with Lacrit, but
yeah, we have to remember, of course, this is a jungle-focused stream, and we are seeing 1 jungle ban thus far, unless you count Rumble, of course. And Elise is going to be locked in here for Smeb. So Peanut on that early ganking jungle.
Yeah, 23-2 is Peanut's record on Elise this year. This guy is amazing on Elise, but Elise has a power pick this tournament. Has kind of left a lot to be desired.
Yeah,
a lot of people favoring the Lee Sin. Think back to Rox's first game of the day where they went for Lee Sin over Elise, something that would never have happened during the regular split. So this tournament already has its own meta. That much is clear. It has been completely crazy, but back to standard, back to Elise as the solid first pick for Rox.
Yeah, I think going Elise is probably the best bet. Like you say, the early game's bad. Why not go probably the best ganking jungler in the game? I think Peanut, it is time for him to redeem himself as the jungler. He should easily be able to snowball at least one lane and help his team get ahead early game.
We'll see whether he can do that, as of course the Malzahar and the Caitlyn have been locked away here for CLG. Of course, calling on Stixxay's Caitlyn in order to try and get CLG into the quarterfinals. It would be a pretty joyous thing to witness, but there is Kuro's Viktor, and that is Gorilla's Alistar. This is a scary comp forming.
And the crazy thing about the Rox Tigers is that they don't actually have a lot of players that have big repeat champions, over 20 picks, even on the year, let alone over the split. But this is finally them stacking picks they have stuck by all year. At least 25 games from Peanut. Kuro always had his career most played champion be Viktor, sticking with it. And Alistar, again, it was more of a spring pick. We actually saw the mechanics from Gorilla not be fantastic in the game against Albus Nox, but a career pick for Gorilla nonetheless. So this is literally them basically blind picking their strongest possible comp, and they're going to actually be facing a champion that's messed them up in the early game before in that Olaf, which was such a big pick for specifically G2 against Rox.
And what can you tell us about it, Inori? Of course, Xmithie has had success on it before.
Yeah, having it banned out shows a lot about it, and especially it's a champ that can snowball really hard early game. He showed he can carry with it too, which is really rare on Olafs.
Yeah.
And he's just probably one of the best Olafs in the tournament right now.
What about the matchup, though? So Elise versus Olaf, because post-level 6, it just seems like Olaf runs at Elise, and it's sad time.
It's actually a good counter pick. He picks it later because he knows it's the advantage jungle pick. Olaf is one of the champs who, well, Elise is really squishy. Her problem is when you get on her, she doesn't really have that best ways to get out. So Olaf's a champ who, hey, if you cocoon me, I'm going to press R and chase you. And he has axes that just kill your spiderlings as she's killing you. All around, it's the best counter pick. Like when I see Elise, I say, yeah, I'll probably play Olaf this game because it can really go crazy and destroy one-on-one fights with Elise.
Yeah, well, throws a cocoon at you and you just say, well, I'm going to press my R button. See you later. It is going to be the Jhin and the Gnar locked in here, though. Give Prey some extra skill shots. He's probably going to have a good time. That is going to be Smeb on a very versatile top laner.
And look, Prey was one of the best competitive Jhins right when the champion came out. His skill shot accuracy, famous on the Ashe, also there on Jhin. But I'm going to pose a question to you guys, actually.
Ooh.
This is one I know the answer to. I actually checked it to make sure, but obviously Gnar has been a big pick in the meta. How many games of Gnar do you think Smeb has played in the summer season?
I'm going to assume it's a low number. Inori, do you want to actually take a stab?
I mean, I like number 3, so I'm just going to say 3.
3 games.
Do you want a number from me as well, Papasmithy?
Yes,
Do we need
go ahead.
Okay, the double panel. I'm going to go with 5.
And Smeb's been known for Gnar in the past. He has played 0 games of Gnar in summer season, including playoffs. No games. Now, of course, they had a very short playoff run. It was just the 5 games in the final. But despite Smeb being a legacy Gnar player, it is a completely new pick for him here at Worlds. So it's literal ultra comfort for 4 members. And the player that was rated as the #1 player at the tournament by the consensus of the Riot panel goes to certainly a familiar champion to him, but one that he hasn't shown this split.
Yeah, scary stuff here as well. And now that the compositions have been locked away here, you've got Poppy versus Gnar on the top side of the map. If you're a jungler and you're looking down this line at the champions that you're facing off against, which lanes are you choosing to try and camp out? Because I'm looking at a few options here for both of these players.
I think once you hit 6, Malzahar is always the free lane to gank. He brings so much CC. There's no one you can gank better than a Malzahar. But pre-6, I definitely want to pressure the Gnar lane. Gnar versus Poppy, it's kind of like volatile. Like, you really need to pressure a Gnar lane, because if he gets ahead and he starts split pushing, you really don't really have outs for it. So snowballing the poppy lane would give you a really big advantage by having you not worry about that split push threat till later.
Yeah, well, we'll see what is going to happen. But remember to hop on Twitter and send us your questions to LOL Esports with the hashtag AskTheCasters, and we'll answer it during the game. Of course, Inori, a wealth of information about the jungle pool, and Papasmithy is no slouch when it comes to anything about League of Legends ever. So
I've already played a game of Rise Jungle this week.
just don't ask me
top
anything, because I am a moron. Rox versus CLG, though, here we go. On to the Rift for our final game of the night. Well, what could be our final game of the night. CLG can take this one away. Everything will be cleared up, and I will be deemed a genius.
And kind of the counter to your point, though, is that if it's not the last game of the night, the Rox Tigers have been eliminated. The tournament favorites eliminated in group stages, which is unprecedented. You just look back to the history. Sure, Type A Assassins weren't the tournament favorites in Season 2.
That's got to be the closest to that sort of result, though, right?
That was the dark horse result, but that was, I think, a different time when the infrastructure for League and analysis of League was a lot more in its infancy compared to today. But since then, SK Telecom, big favorites in Season 3, or at least in the conversation for top 3. Season 4, everyone who had been around the boot camps, been around the teams, knew it was going to be Samsung White. Season 5, SK Telecom again. This would be the tournament favorites, eliminated at the first ask, and another story of the Rox Tigers. I don't know if the choking's the right word, but not excelling in high-pressure environments.
And it's so exciting as well, because it just opens the field so far. I mean, you might look at teams like SKT, but there are still so many other teams that are looking so much stronger than we were otherwise expecting. And we are going to see a relatively standard start here in Inori.
What's your take on Elise? Because Elise has, of course, the very interesting pathing options. We are seeing the Elise, go what the Olaf is expected to start blue. How do you feel about Rox mirroring a blue start also for their Elise?
That start is a bit different. He's going to start Grom first, so he'll have his blue later on. I kind of liked how he goes Hunter Machete. Normally you want to go with a Talisman because it gives you overall more sustain, but going Machete gives you a faster clear, so possibly a faster first gank, which it's really important because if you get the first gank off and the Olaf's late, that's really good for you. So I kind of think he's going to go more aggressive early and hopefully get like a first gank off.
Well, also, I guess Hunter's Machete, because Elise does have an attack speed steroid, would make you a little bit more healthy coming out of the jungle as well.
Yeah, it definitely does, but normally you just have really bad mana problems because your Qs cost like 90 mana level 1. So normally you want to just kind of have your mana till you can clear it faster. But he's going to go bot side, get his red level 3, probably go fight something early. I could see him going bot right after red because they look like they're going to play really aggressive. And you have an Alistar set up for a Q flash. I kind of see this going on in the comms right now. Gorilla's telling them the lane situation. Peanut's like, I can come after red. Like, can you set me up on a Bard kill? And I'll be like, hell yeah, let's do this. Let's get the show on the road.
I mean, flash Alistar and also Bard just being so brittle. Goes for a pretty squishy build most of the time. It's one of the reasons we haven't seen.
And here it comes. It's looking, they're setting up right now, and I think I can see it coming right now.
They haven't seen either Caitlyn or Bard leave lanes. They know there's no wards here. No need for a Raptor
he did the
buff.
flash combo. That's free kill. Nice.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Aphromoo. There it is. Headbutt pulverized into the cocoon. Everything goes down. Prey even flashes for it. That is going to be first blood. Easy as you like.
And that's the first blood for Rox Tigers. Looks like to be answered, though.
Oh, there's the longest flash that you can get down. Darshan didn't even want to go for it.
That's also a big problem when you go ghost junglers. If you ever get ganked by an Olaf, you just run around loop around that wall and just
the ring
flash
around the Rosie play.
100% of the time, that Olaf cannot catch it, so you just trade for a flash.
Worth knowing that it's not 100% of the time you actually make it over the fattest wall you can flash in the game. So
that is
Smeb
true.
with the top lane mechanics did get over, but one successful first blood, and Rox Tigers for the first time putting the first blood on the board. Something they did so much over in Korea. It's crazy that that's even a relevant stat coming into Game 6 of their tournament lives, but nice to get the snowball, and the kill goes on to Elise. So that's good for our jungle pool.
It most certainly is good for our stream as well.
Yay.
Considering the fact that we are following Peanut and Xmithie around. We'll see what Xmithie can get done in response to this, because it does mean 400 gold in the lead for the Rox Tigers. Peanut back to farming things out. He has fallen behind just a little bit, but it is something that an Elise you just sort of expect from her. Do you look at CS Inori and just think, I'm Elise, doesn't matter. You can be as ahead of me as you want.
As a jungler, never really look at CS as a way to represent leads. Always look at CS as a way to kind of see like what they're kind of doing on the map. You want to look at experience as the way to see what a jungler does, because if you do a Raptor camp, it gives you 4 CS, but relatively the small ones give you nothing. So if I'm a jungler who just took 2 Gromps on 2 side, I get 2 CS, but the value of 3, like 2 full camps. So you look at experience and you want to see like, hey, they're both 4. Like this is as even as it gets. Gold value is probably relatively same, maybe a couple hundred gold. Yeah, it's like 200 gold difference. So right now, Peanut's got this kill. This is huge. Like, if I get a kill early, I can snowball this into the entire game being over. Like, it's super important. Like,
wow.
This is the most aggressive build you can go. Like, he really wants to capitalize on this lead. And this is, like, what a good jungler does. Like, if you give them a small amount of, like, advantages, they'll snowball this out of control into, like, 5 more kills.
That's why I kind of wondered out loud, Atlus, about the style of junglers Peanut has focused on, because he had a kind of average Rek'Sai game, a couple of Rek'Sai games, but otherwise he's going to be going for the Nocturnes, the Lee Sins, and Lee Sin in the current meta has been less about flashy level 4 ganks, level 3 ganks, more about level 6 and the access to the kick. Famously, Nocturne farms to 6. That's just not the Peanut I'm used to, the one that wanted to be that Battle Ward and invade. So I like to see the aggression in both the item build and the champion choice. But obviously if he's going to clear his camps, it's also Shu's not doing too much in that regard.
Yeah, and when we were talking about which jungle had the lead as well, I mean, Xmithie was ahead by about 300 experience or something like that. But I mean, basically nothing, and Peanut was trying to set up for some extra plays. But tweet at LoL Esports. Make sure that you ask us any questions that you might have, especially for Inori, because you don't have this wealth of information on the caster desk very often.
So Xmithie's just setting up vision around mid. Like, you can see his primary focus is this mid lane. He's waiting for that 6 on Malz.
You say about setting up vision, that's double pinks.
Yeah, they really want to capitalize, and especially they want to help their ball lane. They have a winning ball lane. They cannot let this ball lane get ganked repeatedly, because that would lose them their big advantage. Peanut's going for a lane gank. This is pretty good. I can see him getting maybe a stun off if Poppy ease in, but it's just letting him push the wave in and reset it. That's the most important part, because if Smeb loses this, it's... Oh,
Smeb is in so much trouble. Gnar into the wall. Darshan gets the solo kill. It should be Peanut being able to pick this one up, but I have a feeling that Smeb kind of wanted that a little bit earlier, and Peanut's having a giggle.
And he's giggling at his top lane. He's like, look, I know you wanted to bait, but that was a little bit crazy. Peanut once again the beneficiary, so going for this fast build, but with the jungle-focused stream, and Xmithie, I don't know if he has the angle for this. They're spilling for a turret, though.
I really don't think this is going to work. I'm kind of worried about how this is play out. I hope they back out, because it's kind of looking a little scary. The creep wave is going to be dead by the time he decides to go. Like, yeah, just back out. Like, you have the Malz room, but you still have TP on Smeb, and it's not good to do it on a TP disadvantage.
And also, I think the thing to take away is that this is very telegraphed. It's been double pin. They've had no vision on the bot side for a long time. This is why you see Peanut. He hasn't been in his bot side, red side jungle for a long time, but there's no incentive for him to go there, because the chances he's face checking a Malzahar and Olaf are so high that he kind of has to just give up that jungle. It needs to be a 2-3 man re-invade to his own red side jungle to actually realistically be able to take the camps.
But going back to that Peanut gank, it wasn't so much set up as a gank at first. He just wanted to reset the wave.
Sure.
A lot of times you want to play your lane so you don't let them get destroyed by wave management. He knows wave management really well, so he went there to make sure that he doesn't get ganked.
Triggered. Oh, there it is.
Void lane will get it.
Yeah.
That last auto. But yeah, that's also the thing as a jungler, you don't have to just gank for kills. You can gank to push waves in, reset it, so your laners can get good backs, and that's part of the game, especially at competitive level.
Well, he put a ward down, but he's going to be surprised.
Yeah, and he is going to be destroyed as well.
You see that those pinks are like showing the value right there. Like, they have no way to see that coming in, and CLG's vision management has always been really top tier, and it's kind of slacking by Rox to have this kind of set up like this, but you can tell because the Malzahar hits 6, he gets mid priority, so this allows Xmithie to play harder around mid side, and it just gets them free dragon afterwards.
Yeah. The dragon's such an easy objective, because at the end of the day, the Voidlings do a lot of the tanking work, so no real way for them to success. Kuro will poke over, though.
You could go for an E, but I don't know if I would R it, yeah. Just kind of like let it go.
Xmithie. Okay.
It's good to do damage, because putting them lower gets you more time to possibly do your own objective. Like, hey, the jungler's backing, maybe we can prioritize bot pressure.
I mean,
like that.
Even if it's not a gank, enough pressure to actually clear some of these wards would be important for Rox.
Be a little stun, Stixxay. Throw some bullets into Gorilla if you'd like to. Magical Journey gets Aphromoo out.
He was considering Q flashing, but it was already a really rough situation. You don't want to lose your Alistar flash, because he knows he's so close to 6. once he hits 6, he can make the next big play and wait on those cooldowns, because you don't have to force right now. The game is still pretty even. If this was Trick in jungle, he'd probably all in something and throw the game away. Even though it's even, you don't have to do anything risky, just take it slow. But I like that. This is experienced jungler, experienced team, playing really well, just taking it slow, waiting for their opportunities, waiting for them to have the best chance of making this successful play.
Well, Huhi looking for an opportunity here as well, not sitting on top of a ward. See whether he actually moves over there. That's the silence.
Okay.
That's what he wanted. Interesting.
Seen Peanut have his first setback so far, dying at his red, so still gonna have to deal with the strong invading once again. Smart that he warded a lot earlier. He wasn't to know, obviously, that he was gonna get face checked by 2 people at his red when he did actually ward over the wall, but it was good to see CLG playing on the front foot. But now Peanut, with a very aggressive build, has been largely curtailed and is playing pretty defensive by his standards.
Yeah, Xmithie now still looking for him here as well as he runs in. We'll see that Gromp. I don't know whether he saw it dying there as little Toad goes back into its hole.
We didn't see any pings on the jungle camp, so I'm assuming he didn't see it.
Yeah.
He kind of had like line of sight, so Peanut knows he's there though. So Peanut's waiting for a potential dive.
Oh, he's standing
Look at the
just
vision toggle
outside
there.
of
He has
vision.
they have no idea that Peanut's here, which is insane given all the information we had of the proximity on the map.
He plays the vision really well. He knows his ranges and the enemy ranges, so that's pretty good by him. But it's kind of unfortunate because they're losing mid priority is so important in this meta. If you lose mid priority, it allows the enemy team to do whatever they want. They choose the jungle side, they can take it. It's just so hard for Rox to really capitalize. They're hoping for like their ball lane to be the next play. You use Alistar flash combo and you can maybe potentially get an advantage there.
Yeah, and I like what they've done as well with their vision, moving it down towards that bottom side. We saw at the beginning of the game, Rox pretty lacking vision on the bottom side of the map, now moving everything down there. Make sure that Prey and Gorilla are going to be absolutely fine, set things up for Peanut potentially as well. But we'll see where Peanut decides to exert his pressure next time as Xmithie goes around removing as many wards as he can and placing his own.
Yeah, just following on Inori's point, it's so difficult because even though they have the Viktor, who famously, 1250 gold, his death ray can then kill the backline instantly, but to do that, he does get into flash ult range, and he knows he can't be on the right side of the lane because they've never had vision control there. So even Viktor, one of the safest wave clear champions, is really struggling to actually get any control over the mid lane because while the flash is up, he really can't do too much.
It's a pretty early ghost, but yeah, I don't think this is going to work.
I like the commitment, though.
It's always good to pop that ghost early because I think it's 15 seconds or around 15, 12 seconds, and it's just wonderful to sprint down from mid to bot.
Utilize all of the ghost there as well, instead of like ghosting back after you get a kill or something like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's Gorilla getting taken out very low. The Ignite sticking down, the auto attacks, will they be enough? The net comes in. Oh my goodness, Aphromoo falls. They trade the supports as Stixxay flashes himself out of the way. Fancy footwork. And the last bullet, not going to be enough.
You can tell it was a big mistake on Gorilla's part. Peanut wasn't ready for that. He was ready to back, and that was just him getting caught out. They expend 2 flashes, actually all of Alistar sums, and for a Bard kill, that's no objective. There's nothing you get from that secondary. It's just, yeah, I got that kill. I'm going to put it in my pocket. So I think that was a big mistake on Gorilla's part. It's kind of like when you get the flash combo that's so important on Alistar, you want to capitalize on more than just 1 kill. You want to get like Balling Tower or like maybe even...
There's the flash ult from Huhi. Smeb's in trouble here as Xmithie already pops. He goes, oh my god, Huhi's dead! And in goes Darshan, able to take down Smeb here, but are they going to be able to get anything more? There's the flash from Aphro, not able to save his jungler as Darshan looking to try and run out of this one. Rox will find it. Good-tempered fate will buy Darshan sometime. Save his own life and CLG get out of there. My goodness.
Yeah, just a quick point on Gorilla's death and bot. I think it comes back to what I was talking about, how it was mostly a spring pick for Gorilla. Once the Alistar nerfs came through, he didn't play a lot of Alistar, and he spent so long baiting that he just died to Ignite because he was at 100 health when he popped his ult. It's not the same tankiness there. And you can see a replay on this particular play. Smeb plays as smart as he can. He opens up a lot of space. They change onto Huhi the moment he loses his passive. And again, it's 2 for 1 overall. It's not the cleanest ever from Rox, but for at least for our stream, Peanut is very accelerated this early into the game.
It certainly is. Of course, the gold quite even, 600 between Rox and CLG. So, of course, CLG not out of it just yet.
And 100% kill participation for Peanut. So
yeah.
we were wondering where this Peanut was. Hasn't shown up on the world stage. Sure had a big game on Nocturne, but that was very much about late game jungling. The smite steals have been there, but the early pathing, it's been called into question, and this is the first game. Hopefully we get to see the full information on it. It's been a big improvement for Peanut.
Most certainly is the correct focus, Papasmithy. But we do have some Twitter questions for Inori here as well. Swifty, Gamer Swifty, sorry, asks, what do you do if all 3 lanes are pushing? How do you know which of my lanes will be ganked and be ready for the counter gank? How can you tell where the enemy jungler is going to be?
I mean, at that situation, that's like the best scenario where all your lanes are pushing because you can just go in the enemy jungle and find them yourself. I think when you have lane shoves, you don't really necessarily have to wait for the jungler to make his move. You're kind of the one who needs to make his move. So if your lanes are all shoving, you have priority in all your lanes. That's what you wish for. You want lanes to have priority.
That's the dream.
If you go in their jungle and you find their jungler, who's going to come first? The guy who has a huge wave on his tower, or the guy who literally has no job and he's just like, hey, I'll come help you. I'll get you a free kill in the jungle.
But is it always the best when all 3 of your lanes are pushing to invade the enemy jungle, or is there ever a world where looking for a counter gank in a juicy lane is actually also an option?
I think you don't have enough information to really guess it at that point. You need to go in one jungle to secure that vision because you have that advantage. You find one side of the jungle, you light it up, and that just reveals where the enemy jungler is instantly. You know he's not on this side, so he's on the other side. Or if he's not on the other side, he's just on my ward.
Ooh, Huhi, possibly in trouble.
But you just want to play that aggressive role and just make sure you're kind of capitalizing on your lanes shoving, because if you just let them shove permanently, they're going to get ganked eventually.
Yep. Yeah. Well, see whether CLG can wrestle things back in control. As you can see, Xmithie relegated to his side of the map here for the moment. The vision for Rox is huge. Up the river completely.
So we got the first Drake. The game has changed quite a bit since then. Certainly having the inside track. Gorillas readying and engage.
That's the big collapse. Smeb has good Gnar at the moment as well. Scary position. Curtain call comes in. Good knock up. Aphromoo going to be the first one to fall down. Xmithie right into the backline though, looking for a target. Wants to just get out of there. The magical journey is taken, and CLG just take their losses. Now their turn for a potential re-engage. This is scary.
And that does have the Spiderling, so he isn't taking any damage, but CLG aren't going to engage 4v5.
Yeah, Darshan moves out of the way. And the clock is also dodged. Definitely good news. Another potential engage. There's the flash headbutt Pulvers. Huhi's in trouble. Peanut gets the cocoon. In goes the Elise and gets the work done. Darshan, the next problem here is Rox. They are out for blood in this final game. And Xmithie has to run away, utilizes the chilling smite, but there's the stun. No Ragnarok, and not even a Tempered Fate can save him.
Welcome to the world stage, Rox Tigers. Took a week, but they finally showed up, Atlus, and they're looking a lot better. This is vintage Rox Tigers. This is LCK Rox Tigers, and not a moment too soon or too late, I guess, is perhaps the way to say it.
Yeah, that's clinch timing, most certainly.
And I think when it matters, they're trying their hardest. I could tell they're not trying as hard. Like, it's easy to say, but I feel like they were kind of trolling with their picks in like the start of this. But now it really shows when it matters, like when it's like life or death, they show how much they can put out. Like Peanut, I think, like I said, if you give me one kill, I can push that so hard. You give Peanut a free kill.
He's still laughing in his player cam, like having the best time ever.
He's such a fun guy. Like he's having so fun. Like he plays so well. His Elise is actually so nice.
Takes his hands off the keyboard to drink when he's pathing towards blue. As a free tip for you guys, that's when you fit in the little drink, the little gulp.
Yeah, assuming you have incredible map pressure, because otherwise you might just die.
That's also a cheeky alt-tab time if you are not on the world stage.
No, you don't do the cheeky alt-tabs, Papasmithy. Never. Never would you do. Don't give away that information.
It kind of sucks for Xmithie, though. I think he's playing okay. Like, he's not playing above and beyond, but he's playing well, decently. And his ball lane just really got punished really hard for their over-aggressiveness. I still think they should have saw that level 3 gank coming. That's, like, predictable. If you're kind of pushing, you're playing the more aggressive role, the enemy jungler will want to pressure that lane, and they didn't even have a ward out, and it's like, it's gank time. That's what I was saying. They might have been set off because normally Elise doesn't go Hunter's Machete, so his clear was a lot faster than normal. So
what would you say? Like, what sort of time are we estimating? Like, how much did they shave off with the Hunter's Machete?
You should. It's like normally like 245 is like you're gonna be like, hey, this guy's probably ganking like around that time. But if you really want to be safe, I think he might have been. Actually want to check that, but I'll get back to you on that one.
All right. Well, let Inori investigate the early parts of this game to see what sort of timing we're talking about. Because, you know, at the end of the day, that one thing worth mentioning, Atlus, is that hasn't been a lot of elites this tournament. You know, hasn't been a pick.
Hasn't necessarily seen the success we're expecting, most definitely.
We've seen so many games of Skarner, Lee Sin, slower junglers that are more about farming. So maybe it was just a bit of cockiness from CLG that they paid for.
Xmithie facing off against a volatile Spartling right now, as Kuro's going to move down towards the bottom side of the map. The investigatory Inori still figuring things out as in goes Kuro. Yeah, it's going to come down, but I have a feeling Xmithie just going to ghost himself out.
Yeah, so when is he actually going to...
Oh my goodness. Died for your sins, he did. Xmithie.
That is unfortunate.
I'm really enjoying Peanut Cam. I feel like we can cast the game off just Peanut Cam.
I feel like this is just the regular stream.
Well, League of Legends has evolved. We used to cast just on the screen, then we're like, wait, the mini-map's actually where all the action is. Now we can actually evolve further, Atlus, and just cast it off. Cute little Peanut in the corner.
Yep, okay, so Peanut player cam. That's where we're casting this game. All right. Oh, I like that we get the zoom in. This is the kind of observation that we've been looking for. Who cares about a teleport on the bottom side of the map? We need Peanut Cam. Check out this river. Absolutely fantastic. Xmithie not able to find too much. CLG, bit of a desperation play down there as the tower is going to fall here in the mid lane. That'll be first brick as well. A lot of extra gold now for Rox as they extend their lead to 4,000.
Yeah, they're definitely playing desperate at this point, but they kind of need it. They're really far behind, so I don't want to say that's bad. They kind of needed to make a play like that. It's just unfortunate that it didn't work out.
I mean, there's no point for Darshan to stick in top lane and just be harassed down by a Gnar. We know how Frozen Mallet Gnar just romps away with a lane that's range versus melee. So it's smart for them to make that proactive play, but only like trading objectives, and in this case losing a trade. They gave up 2 turrets for 1 is further putting CLG in a hole.
I love Peanut's build as well. Sork shoes into the proto belt from his runic echoes. And this guy wants to do stuff in the early game.
So I'm going to pose to you, Inori. We had a really interesting graphic for the LCK final when we compared Peanut and Score build paths on Elise. Peanut, predictably, full damage. He would go proto belt. He was one of the, I believe he was the first Elise to go proto belt from the jungle into Rylai's. Potentially more damage. We sometimes even saw Leandry's or Haunting guys. Whereas Score was always the Locket, the Randuins, the defensive choice. What's your take on Elise builds? Are they situational, or is there just a best one or a certain timing you have to hit
outside
when
of solo
deciding?
queue, of course,
I
which
think
requires things like Lich Bane.
The jungle has evolved to the point where you need to be more carry-oriented. I think him being here and not Score being here shows that being the more carry-oriented jungler does have its merits, and it does accelerate your team's advantages, because when you're tanky, you don't have the damage output to really kind of push for those kills, but when you have this much damage, you literally can go on anyone and actually try to one-shot them. So I think this is the style. I think Peanut's probably one of the best junglers, and he knows the best way to snowball.
Smacked up into the sky and destroyed. That'll do it.
Yeah.
He's very dead.
He's super dead, some would say.
I mean, that was a lot of sums, though. All the Malz and also the Ghost on Olaf. Definitely worth it. When you're behind, you really need those kills, but I think
sign of desperation, maybe.
Yeah, they really needed that. It's do or die at this point. If they don't get any kills, they're just gonna get choked out and like lose everything.
The only unfortunate thing from CLG's perspective, well, this could be another thing.
Big pulverizes. Aphromoo immediately destroyed Xmithie, trying to run his way out. Good undertow for the slow. Huhi and Stixxay are still safe, so it's just the one pick. And a lot used, actually, from Rox.
Smeb will be respawning, and the moment I was going to mention is coming back with teleport. Infernal Drake on the map, so...
Oh, Stixxay nets himself out. He'll be okay.
But he's not tanky enough to walk up to a Jhin.
And Darshan. Oh my goodness, Gorilla delivered by the Poppy as Peanut extremely low. Xmithie does want to walk out of that captive audience as Smeb still trying to play frontline. Rox going to keep everyone alive.
I like how they're all body blocking 4 people in front of him, like they're not going to let you die, Gorilla.
We love you.
Harambe for life.
I mean, both the damage sources here for Rox are fairly immobile. Sure, there is Ghost. Sure, you get little speed ups from Viktor, but doesn't have a reposition ability. Neither does Prey, who casually steps on a trap for some reason.
Yeah, and the turret does eventually fall down. Kuro.
He's just dead.
Take that one out as see you later, Prey.
He stepped on 2 traps. That was some Sideshow
The man
Bob-esque
loves
trap
cupcakes. All right, that is A-okay.
Well, catering just let him down, I guess.
It's late in the day, man. I mean, it's probably dinner time.
It's looking like he's got another match, Atlas.
Well, that's a very good point. If they win this, they have to go up against Albus Nox for that #1 position. But they still have to win it, Papasmithy. It is 4,000 gold maybe a little bit more in the lead here for Rox at this particular point. Xmithie, when do you feel as an Olaf that you're starting to fall off, Inori? Because we do hear this a lot, but is there a particular point in the game where you're like, oh, I'm just not getting the work done, as Smeb's going to just die?
I think when you start building Locket, you realize you already lost.
Bad times?
Oh, no.
It's like when you're Locket building, it's just like, oh,
You're my
I'm
favorite
behind.
kind of jungler, by the way. It's like as soon as I have to build defensive items, this is the worst.
It's like, it's the viable strat. It's the way like you stay relevant in the game. You go defensive because you're behind, you have low eco, you're not getting as much gold, you have to buy cheaper, more cost-efficient items at this point.
Yeah.
It's the smart way, it's how you should play. So when you start building like this, you kind of admit like, oh, I'm out of here. Like, I gotta go defensive. I'll be the front liner for you guys. While Peanut on the other hand is, you know, I'm gonna go Rylas, probably get a Void Staff next, maybe a Def Cap.
I feel like career goals for Inori now is to moderate a jungle discussion panel between Peanut and Score. Just be like, now I play Rengar, and I know that you guys both play Elise, and just pick Score's brain. We'll get a translator in there. It'll work out.
I believe in Inori. I think that he's got it.
Yeah, I mean, I love aggressive builds because like I always build like this. I remember.
You definitely do it.
Yeah, I had to like convince my team like to let me build like this. They'd be like, oh, but all these junglers are going defensive. I'm like, but I'm not every jungler. Come on.
Exactly.
And then like they wouldn't let me build Red Smite a lot of times, and sometimes I was just like, yeah.
I feel like we're getting into a very like. Is this a counseling session?
This is
now?
cathartic.
And,
I'm reverting to old career paths.
Yeah, exactly
It's
right.
okay, Inori. You're a strong, confident jungler who does not need green smite.
I just want to be me, you know.
Yeah, you don't need vision when you can hit people harder. That's just ridiculous. I think this is a good time for a Twitter question, though, as we're not seeing as much action. We're going to go with Captain Chemicist, which is a fantastic name. How do you decide whether to upgrade? I don't know. Chemicized him. How do you decide whether to upgrade the jungle item first or get another item?
This is a good question, because of course we saw a rise in Rex size, getting the Tiamat first. Like, people have been skipping out on the jungle upgrade. What's your kind of overall thoughts on this?
It's mostly because like the jungle items, except for Runeglaive, no jungler really misses Runeglaive or Runic Echo. No one skips that because it has so much other stats.
Yeah.
Cinderhawk, Warrior, they're all stats you can get through other items. They're just health and damage. Like a lot of times you're like, why do I need to build Cinderhawk when I can just build an HP item and then get more damage on top of it? So that's kind of the mindset you go. Like Runic Echo, every single AP jungler is just gonna finish it because it has like so much different stats to it. It has like a bunch of stats combined. So that's kind of the reasoning behind it.
Oh, Darshan smacked out of the way here as Peanut and Smeb are going to try and kill the Poppy, but he
Bye.
gets punted away.
I love seeing that. You're gonna kill me? See you later.
Yep, no, not today. CLG actually making a pretty swift move towards the top side and grab their second turret.
And that ult buys them a huge tempo advantage, because that's two members who were committed to bot lane, didn't find an advantage. They take the turret slower, and Peanut's time was effectively wasted, given that all they did was chunk out Darshan, someone who has teleport. So, you know, it's only a couple of seconds, but for given how far behind CLG were 7 minutes ago, let's say, around the 20-minute mark, this is all good signs for the American team.
Showing some patriotism there, Papasmithy. I like it a lot. One thing I do want to sort of caveat that last question with is, you know, when it comes to upgrading, you know, to the Tracker's Knife or to the Chilling Smite or something first up, like, when do you decide I want to build a Caulfield's Hammer first and not get that sort of extra jungle clear speed? Like, when do you know that you're that far ahead?
So for Jungle Smite, you have to consider Jungle Smite items don't give you combat stats. They're just sustain stats, and they increase your jungle stat. So what do you plan on doing in this game? Let's say I'm Elise in. I don't really need sustain. I already clear camps pretty decently. I have my own self-sustain. So I want to fight the enemy jungler. So I would build more combat stats to get that advantage. But if I'm like Elise, I'm just like, I have bad mana sustain. I have bad sustain in general kind of thing. So I want to keep healthy in the jungle and kind of apply my pressure. I would probably go for the jungle smite early. Also in competitive, you kind of want the green smite early, because the sooner you have two wards, the more you can ward the jungle and everything else. That's also a big thing. But for solo queue, you should always prioritize offensive stats first, because you want to be the carry.
Ever.
I say in solo queue, you got to carry. Like, who's going to carry?
That's exactly
Not
right.
this random guy on my team. I always consider, like, I'm 1v5 every game.
Oh, nailed it.
Tricky ward.
Give Rox the game. I mean, I know Xmithie just instantly cleared it. That was stunning. Can we have a replay of that?
Was that a
ward?
highlight play?
I'm going to need a replay. That is fantastic.
What's your success rate on those wards, Inori? 100%?
110, to be honest.
Nice.
Whoa. He's just that good. Just that good. And here it is. We're going to check it out.
Perfect.
Nailed it. Oh my goodness.
Support
We've got to
harmony.
stop. Huhi's going to save us, thank goodness, by getting caught in the jungle here as Gorilla gets the headbutt pole exploded by the Chaos Storm. Xmithie should be able to make his way out, holding onto the Ragnarok for as long as he can, and is going to. Decides to use the Ghost instead of the Ragnarok. As far as being Olaf is concerned, do you want to hold on to your ultimate cooldown more than your Ghost?
I mean, personally, my take of it is that they think that they might have given away a Baron control, and Ragnarok has more value in the Baron pit
Yeah, that's a
than
good point.
the Ghost does. So even though the cooldowns don't line up, I think that's probably the right call.
Yeah, I think in that team fight, what do you need more, the MS or the ulti?
Yep.
So you value the ulti a lot more.
At the moment, I think I'd be valuing your life at this particular stage.
But you can make do without the extra movement speed, but you can't really make do without the ulti. It's the whole kit. So that's kind of like what he's thinking. But you can also go both ways. Like sometimes you can wait on the ulti, but with Baron up, you really need the ulti.
Well, speaking of ultis, there's not a whole lot of them left here for CLG as the locket has been popped. Good knock-up, but only on Xmithie as Stixxay gets out with the magical journey. Smeb's hunting up from the fantastic net as that's going to be the shutdown, but the Baron very, very low. Xmithie tries to go for some sort of steal. Smeb's over the side, though. Gorilla's going to fall. Look at all of the kills over to the side as Aphromoo gets in the pit. Oh my goodness, Peanut is able to lock down the Baron, but it's a disaster. Otherwise, Malefic Vision's not enough.
He's going to hit the trap.
Oh my goodness, Prey turns it around on Aphromoo. Xmithie has to get the heck out of there, but that was a very, very interesting situation.
And consider that if Huhi got in 3 seconds before, suppression stops a smite from going through. It's the only effect stuns, snares, they don't. So if he was just a couple of seconds earlier, perhaps the Baron steal would have been real for CLG. But as has been the story the whole tournament, Peanut comes through. We're going to get the replay. Rox really play with fire here because the Baron's at 3,800 health. They're not the most tanky. We mentioned Peanut's gone the DPS build. I mean, Viktor once again just stands on traps. That's a bit silly, but Smeb is the true hero. Gets in the back line, auto-attacks the Caitlyn down, and still has Guardian Angel. But Rox decide to finish the Baron with at 100 health on their Alistar, and maybe more objectives and more fights coming here, as for now it's just zoning away from Infernal Drake.
Yeah, Peanut going for the damage of the Proto Belt. I liked it a lot, but Infernal Drake should be taken down here by Rox, utilizing their extra pressure. Of course, Baron doesn't help you very much getting in an Infernal Drake, but definitely a good thing to have. That's a huge minion wave down the bottom side of the map. And now, as a jungler, I mean, what are you doing now to try and set up for these Baron plays? Do you help out with securing minion waves and things like that, Inori? Or are you trying to get deep vision down, trying to make sure that you can move between these lanes effectively?
You're more responsible for the vision. You group as your 3. You let your either AD or your top laner push the sideways. Sometimes the mid laner can go because they have ghosts, and they can. Whoever can arrive faster should be the one responsible for the one other side push or wave. But yeah, you just group as your 3. You want to get the deep vision in the jungle. It's always vision, then objective, vision, then objective. Because you don't want any flanks at all. Like, if they get a flank off, even if you're behind a lot of gold, it really can just ruin a team fight. So you want to just set up the vision, to clear all the vision in the area, and then set up the waves. I think Rox is doing a really good job right now, and they're going to have that big wave with Gnar pushing, and they're just going to set it up. Caitlyn does deny it a lot. Like, that trap line is not fun.
Yep, but is going to get caught out. Good QSS gets out of the way as Gorilla was looking for a potential play but doesn't have the flash.
I think you just line it up with Jhin ulti if they're still going to defend. Yeah, I think Jhin ulti.
Here he goes.
Can go for
There's
it.
Curtain Call. He called it. Inori is the god as Aphromoo is going to be destroyed. Smeb takes the magical journey, prepared earlier towards the outside flank as now Xmithie has to use his locket one more time. He's being focused down. Ragnarok not going to stop that knock-up from coming through. The Olaf forced completely out of it. You can see Peanut still just waiting around for that one cocoon. And this is CLG massively on the ropes. A huge lead now for Rox of 8,000 gold.
I don't know why you defend that. It's just against a Jhin comp and Alistar, like that's a tower you don't defend. You should just defend here with your full numbers because it's a lot easier to defend this. You have more room to juke the Jhin spells, but defending that tower is suicide, and it's kind of weird to see.
Oh, Xmithie now going to get caught out of position. Smashed into the wall. Huge ultimate towards the end there from Darshan as Smeb is going to be taken down. Huhi grabs that kill, and can they actually chase this one out as Gorilla flashes after getting hit? But that's a fantastic tempered fate. The rest of Rox rip themselves up. Oh my god. This is why AD carries need to take Deathfire Touch.
I don't know
so
about
much.
the Caitlyn Deathfire Touch.
Oh, it's the dream. Piltover Peacemaker, the ultimate.
Let's get back to the jungle
Ace
here,
in the
Atlas.
hole.
No
That's
more
probably a good
silliness.
idea. Yeah, no, I can go silly with other things, just can't be silly about the jungle.
That's true.
Yeah.
Straight up with the jungle.
Yeah, exactly.
He finished the Abyssal Scepter. That's the way to go. It's looking really good for him.
What's his last item, though, Inori?
Looks like Leandri's. I guess they're not stacking him.
No void stuff, you reckon? Yeah.
I mean, it's viable. You're not really the primary magic source of damage. You just want to, like... I mean, flat pen is... I mean, he has a lot of flat pen.
Huhi's in trouble
I
here.
think
Wait, why would you
a little bit of
flash?
dead as Stixxay is going to get himself in the way of his Malzahar. Oh, Smeb was looking for a deep teleport. Didn't take it.
It's pretty scary for CLG, especially with splash down on Mal. It's like, what pressure does he really have?
Yeah.
Now all you can do is wait for Smeb to dive in and hopefully ulti him.
So riddle me this. Peanut has gone full damage. He's going to be diving in. He looks like the juiciest possible target for someone like a Malzahar. Why no interest in a QSS or a Guardian Angel? Why still keep building damage?
I think it's mostly due to you just being so far ahead. You don't have to worry so much about... Peanut can play the fight where he's never going to be in range of Mal's ulti. If Mal's ultis, they have so much CC that he can't really keep the ulti going. So he's going to trust in his teammates, his Gorilla, and then he's going to trust in Kuro and all the CC that his team has. Realistically, he shouldn't get any ulti off unless they dive too far. Like, if they're diving, I think Smeb can disturb Malzahar enough to where he can't really just hold an ulti down on the primary target.
Do you feel like as well, if Peanut's the one getting the focus here, that Kuro and Prey and Smeb, like everyone else is able to avoid a whole lot of that extra attention?
I think it's actually a little bit more with Inori's point in that what does a team fight look like where Elise went into the backline and ate a full ult from Malzahar with this particular team with like bouncy castle CC not stopping the Malzahar. Like, if that's happening, the Rox Tigers have bigger problems than just the item build. So I think Inori hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, you can see Smeb towards the top side of the map. Darshan dealing with him, and CLG collapsing on the Gnar. Cute little hop. Smeb gets out. And this is going to be Rox just dismantling the base. Reminiscent of our last game as well. G2 playing about this powerfully as Gorilla's going to get stunned and destroyed. Okay. Caster Curse hitting us a little bit there as Aphromoo, the shortest magical journey, as Prey has to flash. And now Kuro's in trouble. This could be the
kills here.
Yeah, exactly right. Xmithie looking for an undertow as he turns up towards the bottom side. He's holding onto it, gets the Randuins and confirms the kill. Kuro. What?
He turned around and deleted Malzahar.
Yeah, see ya, Huhi. As Rox are going to say, well, thank you very much for that attention, bot side. We're going to take down your inhibitor in the mid lane.
Yeah, that was really unnecessary by Huhi. The kill is secured. You have an Olaf who's Randuin slow on top of a...
Oh my, the flash Gnar as Stixxay does manage to at least get the QSS, but Peanut is able to lock down that kill. Rox just looking so much control right here.
And who's the MVP but the man who we spent so much time looking at? It's Peanut, casual 9-1 and 7 now.
Yeah, able to take down Aphromoo at the end there as well as Smeb deals with Xmithie and CLG. Their hopes are draining as they're looking at their Nexus turrets. Darshan's going to fall down to his Guardian Angel. The Rox Tigers, the team we're expecting to fly out of this group so easily, was very difficult towards the end there. We're still not sure whether they're top.
It's a real question. We will see extra innings. We'll see tiebreakers, but just waiting for all the last kills to be cleaned up. But focusing on the jungle matchup, I don't think it takes a jungle expert to see that this was really a game for the ages for Peanut. This is the Peanut that people wanted to see on the world stage. 10-1-8, 18 out of 23 kill participation. Peanut had a day out, Inori.
Yeah, I definitely say I think he redeemed himself this game. He showed he can carry a game pretty hard, and it's nice to see because he had a lot of hype going into it. And, I mean, it is the last game in groups for them, so... Actually, they have one more now, don't they?
Yeah, they have a tiebreaker.
Hopefully he gets redemption again where he can take back a win from that team.
And the fact that it's revenge from a game that happened so recently as well, I think is going to be very important here for the Rox Tigers, because you have a feeling, if you're looking at Korean social media right now, Rox would not be feeling all that good. Now, after this victory, securing themselves a spot in the quarters, you can see in their gait as they're walking over the stage that things are looking a whole lot better. CLG, some defeated faces, but this was a team that, in my personal opinion, performed extremely well here at Worlds.
I mean, they definitely overperformed based on where teams, where they were predicted to be. People thought Rox, easy #1. G2, so good in Europe. I think they're going to be #2. And CLG were the team that people were like, why are they even here? Like, they were talking about the format, the qualification of second seed, and they were like, they don't deserve to be here. CLG, based on this performance, showed they do deserve to be here. It was a lot of the MSI flavor from this CLG team. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, they will not make it any further than group stage.
Yeah, and we have to go back to the focus of this stream as well, because it's a lot to do with Xmithie performing extremely well here on the world stage. He seems to be able to do it. International event comes around, Xmithie plays well.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the veterans in the scene, and
Yeah.
he shows like he's so confident no matter like who he's playing against. He's probably one of the best performing during the Worlds groups. I'm kind of disappointed they lost because I thought they played really well. I thought they deserved it, and watching them win that game before against Rox, I thought it might happen again. But overall, I think Xmithie played really well this Worlds, and Peanut just played so well that series. I'm happy for Peanut too because I really wanted to see him go off because I hyped him a lot too. So.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. And finally seeing the Peanut that we want. I mean, of course, Papasmithy, you must be so happy. Finally some redemption at the end of the day, you know?
I mean, happy's kind of a strong word because if Rox lost here, they deserve to go out. You know, this is a team I'd love to see in the best of 5 format. You can talk about best of 1s, you can talk about schedule. Rox have played exceptionally poor by their standards at this tournament. So I'm a Korean analyst. I like to see the best players playing at their best. That wasn't Rox in groups until we finally saw the Rox Tigers I know and love in the final game. This is their full potential. They finally reached it for a single game. But honestly, let's wait and see how things go because they still play again tonight. And if they're back to old tricks, if they're back to old problems, then it's hard to hype the Rox Tigers.
You know, we'll see what they can bring in the quarterfinals and our game that is going to be coming up in the tiebreakers. But join us here at the alternate stream again tomorrow at 4 Pacific for 6 more alternate looks at the games played out at the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium. Of course, Mark Z is going to return along with our crew of casters and analysts, and we'll have Phoenix 1 top laner Zig to help break down some solo queue lane matchups. We are big Phoenix 1 fans here at this particular stream.
There'll also be 2 Fog of War games. We'll see things from INTZ's perspective as they take on EDG, and we'll watch the game through EDG's eyes when they battle AHQ.
But that will do it for us here on the day. We'll send it to the main stream for the tiebreaker game between Rox and Albus Nox Luna. For now, myself,